My dear Dr. Tidman, we left Jeju on the 4th of September on board a small Chinese junk and arrived off the mainland of Korea on the 13th. We spent 2 months and a half on the coast. I had acquired, through the assistance of a Korean Roman Catholic, sufficient knowledge of the colloquial to announce to these poor people some of the most precious truths of the gospel. They are, as a whole, very hostile to foreigners, but by a little chat in their own language, I could persuade them to accept a book or two. As these books are taken at the risk of decapitation, it is quite fair to conclude that the possessors wished to read them.
After his first missionary trip, he left Korea, came back up through Manchuria to Peking. In Peking, he had a much better reception by Edkins, who was the station chief. Edkins saw the qualities he had. He requested that Thomas become a teacher in the school. He set up a place for him to preach the gospel. The Taedong River, who was the prince regent who was ruling Korea at that time, had threatened the people. They had stone monuments everywhere, warning the people not to talk to any strangers, because they knew that there was an expansionism going on by the Western world. 1866. The Taedong River was to wipe out 10,000 Catholic believers. The French missionaries, 2 of them escaped and got to Peking. The French delegation in Peking approached the mission society and said, "We hear that you have a man who has been to Korea. He knows the language, he knows the coastline. We're looking for such a man." Robert longed to get back to Korea. He had a longing to take the scriptures back there again. He would go, whether it was with the French, which the first boat back, the first opportunity. The Missionary Society requested Robert go with Admiral Rosé. So he waits in Jeju. We learn that there's trouble in French Indochina. So instead of coming into Jeju, Admiral Rosé took his fleet down to Saigon. Thomas was stuck there in the port in Jeju. Along comes this boat called the SS General Sherman, an American boat. We learn that the Sherman wanted to trade with Korea and requested that Thomas join them on this journey over to Korea, which Thomas thought this was another opportunity. Dresses in his Korean garb and armed with his Bibles, he goes on this boat, the General